What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Skull and Bones. And this is kind of a combination of a lot of different things. I'm going to be covering this game more and more as we get closer to November. My plan is to buy it and play it and cover it. I'm too deep in this to let it go. I got to see it all the way through, even though, I've had conflicting thoughts on this game. But one thing that happened just a few days ago was the talk about Ubisoft raising its prices. And raising its prices basically to match that $70 price tag. Now, that's 70 US, right? Games all around the world are different prices, and some countries get majorly screwed because of that. But I'm specifically talking about, these kind of PS5, Xbox Series SX, these next gen or current gen now games, jumping into that $70, and a lot of different companies are doing it. Ubisoft said we're doing it as well, and Skull and Bones is the first one. So they are gonna diversify. Like, not every game is gonna be 70. It's gonna be based off of the experience. That's, of course, debatable, and that's what I want to talk about, part one with this Skull and Bones video. Mirage, Assassin's Creed Mirage being only $50. That does show that not every game is just going to be 70, right? That they're going to look at each game kind of individually. The issue is Skull and Bones being kind of a live service game and being, in my opinion, a game that I would imagine is not going to be the most filled game at launch, but could become a more packed game as time goes on. Is it actually worth $70? Well, the question could have been, was it worth $60? Was it worth $50? You can go backwards, right? And now you raise the price, and now it's $70. So if you're going to be getting Skull and Bones, price is set for the full price, $70 for that game. Now, the focus of this video, of course, right, is Skull and Bones destined to fail? And I truly mean it when I say that I hope it isn't. I really don't. I think Skull and Bones, and this could be maybe one of the most controversial things of all time, I really think Skull and Bones could probably evolve into an incredibly good game. I know it doesn't have several marquee things that you would want from a Pirates open world, even like a sea-based kind of game. Trust me, I've yelled about it in videos before. I'm very frustrated that you can't board ships, and when you do, they're just cutscenes. When you go on land, the best you'll be doing is opening chests. You can't sword fight. It's not an actual like a Witcher-style RPG. It's not Black Flag. It's just the ship combat. And, you could argue, how well is that going to actually work if it's only the ship, which it is. So how is that going to pay off? My answer is, again, at launch, I really don't think this game is going to be all that impactful. I'm going to play it. I'll try, we'll see how it is. And I do think over time, this game could become something special. Now, that also, though, relies on this game surviving for a long time. We know this game has had a very troubled production, development. So they've flat out said, like, there is a roadmap, and they intend to support this game for an incredibly long time. That's fine. How you do it, of course, the execution there, right, is really the key. Because if it's like a Halo Infinite thing where you do basically nothing for the first full year of the game coming out, you will have killed this game. And the game may already be dead like a few weeks in, right? But you could kill this game after a year depending on how good you are at adding things. And what does adding things even mean in a game that you can only do ship-to-ship combat, like literally firing cannons and whatnot? Then, right, so you combine that, I guess, with a game that I really don't think is going to be very filled day one, a game that I do think will probably get better as the months go on, especially because you get feedback from probably people that aren't in your pocket. You look at the price, right? The price is absolutely not going to help it, especially when you combine the price to what the game is. You may think this game would be more of a free-to-play game. You may think this game would be more of a $60 or $50 game, and then they get the rest of the money through microtransactions and other things. That's how this game seems to be framed in a lot of people's minds. Whether that's right or wrong, that's how people view it. Then you have the release date. Now, I've hampered on this quite a bit, and, it's a real thing. I fully believe it's a real thing. Look, is Skull and Bones the same as Sonic, and is Sonic the same as God of War? No, those three games are all very factually different from each other. The issue is Skull and Bones releases the exact same day as Sonic Frontiers. Now, you could say that's probably not that big of a deal because both of those games actually seem incredibly flawed, right? They may both be great, they may both be bad, they're from different companies, fine. But the day after is a behemoth. And now, obviously, God of War is only coming out on PlayStation. So if you have an Xbox, you have PC, it's not even an option for you, right? So then you look maybe to Sonic or Skull and Bones. I'm not saying it's going to absolutely kill it, but I think there is something to what we've seen other games do, literally moving away from, like Forspoken, literally packed up their bags and said, yeah, I think we'll release 2 months after it. We were going to come out about a month before it. We're not doing that. And that's basically the reason Forspoken gave. So it's not like other games haven't done it. And in a way, I actually kind of respect it because they know, like, they know when something is gonna, come out that's really gonna make it difficult for them. And it's the way of the industry. It's the way of this fall period. All of these games are coming out in very close proximity. Skull and Bones came out a week earlier. Well, it'd be right up against Call of Duty, and it'd be a couple days after Gotham Knights and Plague Tale. I mean, there's really no, or if it comes out in December, well, now you got Midnight Suns, now you got Callisto Protocol. Like, when are you gonna release the game that it's not packed? That's fair. I mean, that's what I've been saying. It's a tough situation. You then have to rely on the game itself, right? So it's not, and that's why I've been saying for a long time, the release date, in my opinion, is not necessarily a make or break thing or like a doomsday scenario on its own. But I think when you combine these things, the idea of, is this game destined to fail? I mean, kind of. I don't want it to, but I really feel like this game is most likely going to fail. I'd love to be proven wrong. I'd love to play this game day one and say, yep, I'm in. I'm in for the next couple of years, or, or whatever. I want that to happen, and I want to eat my words. But you have the release date being in just not, a day later, the internet is going to be taken over by God of War. It's just going to happen. Now, how many people go on the internet for, like, advice of should they get God of War versus Skull and Bones? How many people rely on the internet for that kind of word of mouth talk? Maybe, obviously not everybody. I don't know the actual percentage, right? Are there people that are going to get Skull and Bones no matter what? Yeah. But also then you have to ask yourself, what are they expecting? Do they want this game to get like 6, 7, 8 million units within like the first 6, 7 months? Or do they want, what if it sells 2 million units in before Christmas, right? So about a month and a half, it sells 2 million. That's pretty okay, but not necessarily for a big AAA Ubisoft game. In fact, I would actually imagine that's not okay for them, right? And then again, you have development costs and how long they've been working on this game, how it was supposed to come out years ago, right? So you combine those things, the release date, then the price. So now it's not only does it release a day before God of War and the same day as Sonic, but now you have to pay $70 for it. Well, that may turn people off immediately. And then you have that the game has never really taken off with that many people, right? It's not a great situation. It's not. Again, I've said it before. I've said it for actually 5 years now, but I'll say it again in this video. I'm sure I'll say it more times. I've been here since the beginning. I've talked about this game since the very first day it was announced back at E3 2017. I've always liked the idea. I really had assumed and hoped, especially back then, that there would be, sword fighting and stuff like, which there's not. So that's very disappointing. But I'm seeing this through, and I do love the idea of I like pirates, right? So I love the idea of pirates games. I have to see it through. I have to see what this game does. And again, maybe it surprises me, but at the same time, even if it's good, you still have the other issues. You still have, well, will the $70 scare people off, even if it's good? It's good, all right, but what about the fact that God of War comes out the day after? Are people going to forget about Skull and Bones? They may, because then a week later, Pokemon, I think, is like the 16th, 17th, so middle of November is that. Then you have holidays, and then you have early December, which is another boatload of actual big AAA games, right? So is Skull and Bones going to be forgotten about? It could. And that's if the game is good. It could still be forgotten about, let alone if the game's bad. So we'll see how it goes. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think the game is kind of destined to fail? Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on so you know when all these videos go up. If you want to follow or support me anywhere else, all my social media is in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.